Okay, so we just spoke about the life, yeah, is it a
Yeah,
lifelong job?
yeah.
And then I asked,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like you're fully integrated into China?
No, like I was saying to you that I do believe that you can be stable, you know. And as I was saying that if maybe your company goes bankrupt, you could always work for another company, right?
Yes.
But like I told you that the countries are really competitive because we know that other countries are much more lenient, in terms of maybe if you're thinking retirement now, it's not easy to have permanent residency in China, So other countries, they're much more lenient with that. So
Okay.
that's always something to consider. I feel like a majority of foreigners in China always feel like, oh, it's really hard to have permanent residency. So that is always the deal breaker.
Yeah, I
So
think
yes.
very few people can get the green card here.
Yes. If it wasn't for that, then absolutely. I would have considered maybe like a lifelong, maybe just maybe to spend much more time in China than I had actually intended.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So are you integrated into China? Can you speak the language or do you have many Chinese friends?
Oh my goodness. I'm still in the Timbudong category. So most of the time, I always find myself really stuck. I've been here for now, this is my fourth year, and I'm still struggling. I do have Chinese friends, but they speak English as well.
Yes.
So it's a problem. So my Chinese is terrible. So I guess maybe I've integrated in terms of understanding the lifestyle, being familiar with my surroundings, but
Yeah.
with the language, no, 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 no. It's a problem.
Do you think that if you could speak Chinese and that maybe you had a Chinese boyfriend or
hmm
something along those lines, that you'd want to stay in China for longer?
I think that would have been a possibility, you know, because yes, to be honest, life is good in China. It's secure in China. And like I said, for me, since now I am just in the teaching industry, there's always like a better job. There'll always be a better job than the other one. So I guess if I had maybe like a Chinese boyfriend, that would have then meant that my life in China would probably be longer than I think, unless we both decide to just move together somewhere else. But if that were the case, I would definitely be in China for a longer period.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if you had a friend who was considering moving to China to teach
Mm-hmm.
English,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give them?
To just have an open mind. I would I would advise them to have an open mind because like I said to you, different strokes for different folks. Maybe somebody might come and just feel like they're not open-minded, I don't want to be around such people. And then maybe some people will feel like, but it's a norm. Maybe it's culture shock. They're not used to foreigners. And yeah, you just take it with a pinch of salt and you just make it work for yourself. Actually, I still do advise people to come to China, because it's really such a great place, besides COVID and just other things that can be overlooked. China is not so bad.
Yeah,
You can be stable here. Like there are good paying jobs here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So recently, in the past couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
some countries have implemented a 4-day work week.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the results have been really positive, like
Yeah.
more productivity, the same pay. So, do you
Mm-hmm.
think this could be duplicated in teaching in
Oh.
China?
Oh my goodness. You know, that would be life changing. That would be so life changing. I have friends in the UAE. So when that happened, And I was like, man, you guys are living your best lives. And my friends are like, but you still don't want to leave China, you know? China is great. I'm just like I'm saying, I wish some things could change like this, for instance, it
Yeah.
would just make life even greater, like so much greater. Because to be honest, China, no, China is really such a nice place. It really is a nice place, and especially if you live in a city like Shenzhen, it's so developed. There's so much to do. So I think that would be really nice. Maybe they could just give it a trial. Maybe they can test to see that if it's gonna work out for a couple of months, and we'll get the hang of it.
Do you
We'll
think
get the
that
hang.
the
Mm-hmm.
Chinese people would be open to this, considering they have like the 996? Uh, like they really work hard, don't they? They work late and
Yeah, because I know that they are workaholics. I
yes.
don't know if maybe that would be something they would quickly adjust to.
Mm,
But look, if we have to consider the whole COVID situation, they never would have thought that this is the life we would be living right now,
mm,
right? With no restrictions, because they were really scared. Sometimes it's always just being afraid of the unknown. You'll never know unless you try, you know. Maybe they'll get to see that, okay, it's not so bad, without maybe us trying to change the culture. We're not trying to change that culture, but a few things can be implemented, and it could actually work out for the best. So I think they should be willing to maybe consider doing something like that. I don't think it would bring a lot of change, to be honest. Maybe the change that would come would be more positivity. We'll
yeah.
just put in more work knowing that, okay, it's going to pay, it's going to, like work out for you in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So if you had your own school and that
Mm-hmm.
you had foreign teachers working for you,
Yeah.
what would you do to retain those teachers, like make them stay in your company for a long time?
I think team building.
Oh,
Instead of me keeping my employees at work for so many hours, we could probably do something, during that time, team building. And team building doesn't always have to be like work, 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 work. We could have some fun activities, because I used to work for companies that used to do that. We could have some really fun activities, and I would really love to hear more about the ideas that they have, you know, and things that could work in the best interest of the company and
yeah.
for everybody else. So I think I would try to maintain a better relationship, like not like a one-sided,
Mm,
or like maybe just a more strict way of communicating, of just telling people do this, do this, do this, do that. I would
yeah.
actually love to get to know them better and see like what they think would work out best, what suggestions they have. I think I would focus more on stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
that
make it
makes
like a
sense.
much more fun, relaxed work environment. So
Yeah, so like instead of
yeah.
having so many office hours where you don't really
Yes.
need all that time, you could be
Yeah.
doing more fun things to build better
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah, you know. And also, I think that they can afford to do these things. They can really afford to do these things. If sometimes just little treats, maybe you can do something like a little outing with your employees. Just
Yeah.
try to get to know them on a personal level, but I don't mean that invade their privacy, no, but just to build a better relationship with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So we've almost finished. Is there
Yes.
anything that you'd like to add about work-life balance, teaching in China? Anything that you'd like to add?
Um, the only thing that I would like to add is that, I hope that the training center industry, maybe things will change. I'm really hoping for change. I hope that they can try to balance, the maybe the work life with what everyone else is doing. Like maybe they can change and say, okay, goodbye to so many work hours, and maybe we can maybe stop working on weekends, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping for a change. I hope that things will get better for training centers in future.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I
Okay.
would like to add.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for helping me with this interview.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I have to say, if I can give you a compliment, these are really cool questions, you know?
Oh, thank you.
You're not putting me on the spot, you know? It doesn't feel like an interview. It feels like I'm just having a chat with a friend. So these are really, you've compiled some really good questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I wish you all the best in your research.
Thank you so much. You've really given me a
You're
lot to think
welcome.
about.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay.